What do you do when your whole team refuses to fight and just wants to farm? Most players tilt and force fights they can't win, but in this video I will show you why sometimes farming is the best strategy and how to turn those games into free wins. The most common question I get under my videos is roughly, what should I do if my team just wants to farm? I think I found a perfect game to create a guide about this. The idea of this video is to show you that in some games it's a good strategy to farm through the mid game. There are games that fighting in the mid game will just grief your entire game, and the easiest way to win these is to dodge enemies, get your timings ready and make sure their strong moment in the game is wasted. Granted, it's not like every game in the lower brackets will be this kind of game, meaning it's not like it's clear cut who scales better into late game, and yet, your team might still want to farm. But again, in brackets where macro strategy matters less, you can apply this guide to win games that otherwise could be very hard and most importantly, tilting. First, I want you to look at enemy heroes. They have Dawnbreaker 1, Co-op 2 and Visage 3. Other than that, they have two mid-game oriented supports in Lion and Patch. Now, on my team, we have Terrorblade position 1, Ember 2, Marcy 3, Furion 4 and Chen 5. Now, I want you to think how is the mid game going to look. Unless we absolutely crush the lanes, I feel like they've got a pretty good advantage. Their initiation is way better. They have either hook or blink on Lion, and then DB is able to jump onto a target that they catch. On top of that, both Co-op and Visage have a lot of damage, and the heroes are mid-game oriented. Sure, we have heroes that can actually take fights in the mid-game, but there's a huge risk of them going bad, and our enemies have heroes that can snowball easily. Heroes like Co-op or Visage are very strong if you lose fights into them, as they both want to mostly fight, not farm, and with gold, they become very hard to kill. This makes strategy to run into them very risky, as if you lose tempo, it might become very hard to come back. Now, what happened in this game is less than optimal, but I felt like the game plan behind our moves let us win the game quite comfortably. But to understand what should be approached here, I need you to analyze this game with me. As of now, let's completely disregard position 1 and 2. Looking at offlaner and both supports, there's one huge difference between the heroes. On the Radiant side, so mine, all of our heroes love to farm and do it quite fast. Marcy with Dominator is one of the fastest heroes to do that, Furion is able to be anywhere on the map, and Chen with his creeps is not only able to push waves safely, but also clear camps quite well. Now, if we got advantage in this game, we are able to put up some crazy tempo with the auras, but again, against enemy heroes is quite hard. On the other hand, their three heroes are very bad at farming. Visage gets less gold from creeps due to his facet. Lion has no wave clear ability, and Patch, as a support, doesn't have tools to kill creeps quickly. And while it's not as bad as it could be, remember, their game plan is to be strong in the mid game and stay close to each other, and that naturally will make them get less gold. On top of that, 5 heroes of Radiant have a way to get farm all over the map. Marcy has Dominator, Chen has his creeps, Ember with his Remnant is able to quickly move through the places and get somewhere else, I have a global teleport, and Terrorblade has his illusions. That makes us crazy good lineup at being efficient, while not so good at fighting in the mid game. So having all of this in your mind, I think it becomes pretty clear what should be the plan for both teams after the laning stage. Dire team wants to get their first items, like Blink on Lion, and just run all over the map together, setting up pickups and creating lane pressure. On the other hand, my team should realize that while not as strong in the mid game as enemies are, if the game goes past that mid game stage, we will be the favorites, as they hardly have any answer for fat TB, Furion scales like crazy, and Marcy will be able to just feed on supports. Now, the game isn't always going to be perfect. I was the one who realized what should be the game plan, but it wasn't soon enough, and we took a lot of optimistic fights before that. However, as soon as I did, I made sure in between fights, or even instead of them, I was able to hit a lot of creeps. As long as enemies aren't threatening our base, all we need to do is just play towards our stronger timing. And this guide's main goal is to show you that being split and AFK farming as a team isn't always a bad idea. However, a lot of these games look bad because people don't think about the macro scale, and you can find yourself in a situation that half of your team wants to farm while the other half is trying to defend towers, while clearly not being able to, and that way they are feeding the enemies. Sometimes you have to adapt to these situations. If you're a core that wants a certain timing, or you believe your core should get that before fighting, say it out loud. I need my butterfly and then fight. Sometimes, one phrase like this can change your entire game, and suddenly your team understands what they are waiting for. In some games where your team clearly wants to farm, you need to ask yourself, what is the good timing for us and for enemy? And if you think that you will have a good timing to deal with what enemies have, just play towards it, and only then group up. Maybe your carry really needs a BKB, but he's playing greedy so he can get his item to win fights. Let's say you have Nature's Prophet carry. The moment you get BKB is the moment you are like, yeah, I can fight in teamfights now. And sometimes that is going to be straight after first item, let's say Mjolnir, and in some games it will be delayed, as let's say you feel like you lose fights anyway if you get early BKB. Just keep your mind open. Sometimes, especially in lower brackets, you will get openings that should not happen. Maybe enemy mid will randomly TP to another lane and you can pick him off. Or maybe a support randomly dies to the Tormentor. Your main goal is to push waves and get your farm, even if that means you will die sometimes. Just keep in mind you still want to play for objectives if enemies let you have them. Here, I can see my TB is farming close to the Tormentor, and basically, all I need is +1 hero with him to get it. I ping it a lot of times and TP there as soon as I'm up. Ward up, patch comes, we kill him and then we get the Tormentor. If we had to, I would definitely give it up, but that way enemies let us have it and there's no reason to ignore that. And here, as you can see, that straight after feeding a lot of times in fights that we should avoid, I made a choice to play for scaling. That's why I get shreds. They allow me to hit creeps unlike other items. After that, I will get even more items for farm, as the later this game goes, easier it's going to become. The important thing is, however, to not let enemies just snowball through the map, and while they are very good at fighting, they aren't so good at pushing towers, so making sure the waves are pushed out is a good strategy. Notice how despite us seemingly getting crushed in every fight, we seem to keep the gold disadvantage close enough so it doesn't matter. It's because 5 of us are farming non-stop, only coming to the fights. If we weren't doing that, I think we easily lose this game. At some point, we also actively avoid fighting. We are aware that post 30 minutes, as long as we stop dying, we will just become stronger with farm. Even losing one barrack shouldn't be a big issue, but even that is not going to happen. And here's the fight that breaks the game. Gold is even, we have good vision, and I could see that Quap is on the bot lane, and that's the only hero that can burst through our team. We decide to take this fight and Marcy gets a kill on Lion right away. As the Quap isn't there, Terrorblade is able to get his Thunder off, and because of that, we easily win the fight. And just because we took it close to their base, we will be able to get the top barracks, and I get to fix bot lane. This game is suddenly under our full control, despite us losing it for almost all of it. The plan was to get gold out of the map and be ready when the time comes. And from now on, it's some basic Dota when you have map lead. Push out lanes, get Roshan, XP shrines, and just close out the map for enemies. This game will last for another 3 minutes, as at this point enemies have no damage to punish our team. As you can see, sometimes farming while being split is the right choice, and if executed properly can lead to easy win in 30 minutes. All you have to do is just to plan for it and accept that mid-game can be a bit hard. If you're interested in private coaching, visit Support Heaven Discord. Thanks for watching, let me know in the comments if you like this kind of breakdown in guides, and as always, subscribe to the channel. See you!